Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to learn about reproduction in fungi. First one is vegetative reproduction. Vegetative reproduction is a type of asexual reproduction in which new individuals are formed from the body of a single parent without the formation of gametes, which is sperm and egg. The offspring produced are genetically identical to the parent and are called clones. It commonly occurs in simple organisms like algae, fungi, and some plants. Vegetative reproduction occurs by fragmentation, fission, and budding. Now let us understand about fragmentation. In fragmentation, the parent body breaks into two or more pieces. Each fragment grows in a complete new organism. In simple words, the organism breaks and each broken piece becomes a new individual. Second one is fission. In fission, the parent cell divides into two or more daughter cells. Each daughter cell becomes a new independent organism. In simple words, one cell splits and each part becomes a new organism. And fission are two types, which are binary fission and multiple fission. In binary fission, splits into two, and in multiple fission, splits into many. Next one is budding. In budding, a small outgrowth, which is bud, forms on the parent body. The bud grows, develops organs, and then separates to live independently or sometimes remain attached. In simple words, a small baby like growth comes out of the parent and becomes a new organs. Let us understand asexual reproduction by spores. Asexual reproduction is a type of reproduction in which only one parent is involved and no gametes are formed. In many fungi and algae, asexual reproduction occurs by the formation of spores. Spores are microscopic, light, single cell reproductive unit that can develop into a new organism without fusion. These spores are produced in special spore bearing structure called fruiting bodies. Asexual reproduction by spores such as conidia, sporangiospores, and zoospores. These spores are produced in special structure called fruiting bodies. Now let us understand about conidia. Conidia are non-motile, which means they cannot move and they are asexual spores. They are formed externally on special hyphae called conidiophores. In simple words, dry spores that are formed outside and are easily carried by air. Example Aspergillus and Penicillium. Next one is sporangiospores. They are non-motile spores formed inside a sac-like structure called sporangium. When the sporangium bursts, spores are released and each can grow into a new organism. In simple words, spores formed inside a bag which breaks and releases them. Example Rhizopus. Next one is zoospores. Zoospores are motile spores. They have flagella and can swim in water. They are produced inside sporangia and are common in algae and lower fungi. In simple words, spores that can move in water using tails, which are flagella. Before going into sexual reproduction, let us understand about fruiting bodies. Fruiting bodies are special spore producing structure of fungi. They protect the spores and help in their formation of dispersal. In simple words, special part of fungi where spores are made. Now let us understand about sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction in fungi involves the fusion of two compatible cells and occurs in three defined stages. First one is plasmogamy, fusion of cytoplasm. In plasmogamy, the cytoplasm of two parent cells fuses, but the nuclei do not fuse immediately. So one cell now contains two separate haploid nuclei. In simple words, only the cell contains mix, not the nuclei. The next stage is karyogamy, which means fusion of nuclei. In karyogamy, the two haploid nuclei fuses to form one diploid, which is two N-nucleus. In simple words, now the two nuclei becomes one. Now let us understand dikaryotic stage, which is N plus N. In many fungi, after plasmogamy, the two nuclei do not fuse immediately. The cell remains with two separate haploid nuclei, which is N plus N. This stage is called the dikaryotic stage, and the phase is called dikaryotic phase. It is very important characteristic of fungi, especially Ascomycetes and Basidomycetes. In simple words, one cell, two nuclei living together and not fused. Now let us understand meiosis, formation of haploid spores. After karyogamy, the diploid nucleus undergo meiosis. This produces haploid sexual spores which germinate to form new fungal bodies. In simple words, haploid nucleus reduces to haploid spores. Now let us understand classification of fungi. Fungi are classified based on morphology of mycelium, mode of spore formation, types of fruiting bodies. Main classes are Phycomycetes, Ascomycetes, Basidomycetes, and Gideromycetes. Now let us understand Phycomycetes. They are found in aquatic habitats, moist and damp places, as obligate parasite on plants too. The mycelium is aseptate and coenocytic. Phylocytic reproduction are asexual and sexual. Asexual by zoospores and sexual by fusion of gametes. Example Mucor and Rhizopus. Now let us understand Ascomycetes. They may be unicellular or multicellular. They are saprophytic, parasitic and coprophilous. The mycelium is branched and septate. Reproduction of Ascomycetes are sexual and asexual. Sexual by conidia and sexual by ascospores formed inside ascus. Example Aspergillus and Penicillium. Next one is Basidomycetes, commonly called as mushroom, brackets fungi, and puffballs. They grow on logs and tree stumps or has parasites like rust and smuts. The mycelium is branched and septate. Reproduction of Basidomycetes are sexual spores usually absent and vegetative reproduction by fragmentation. Sexual reproduction occurs by formation of Basidium and Basidospores, usually four. Basidia are arranged in Basidocarpus. Example Agricus. Next one is Gideromycetes, also called as imperfect fungi. They are called imperfect fungi because sexual reproduction is absent. Only sexual reproduction by conidia is seen. The mycelia is septate and branched. Most of them are saprophytic, parasitic, and some are decomposers too. Once sexual stages are discovered, they are shifted back to Acetomycetes or Basidomycetes. Example Trichoderma. So that's it for today's video. In the next video, we'll be continuing the rest of the topics from the 5 kingdom classification. Thank you for watching. If this helped you, please like the video, share it with your friends and subscribe to the channel for more neat biological based concepts. Memory tricks, short notes and practice questions are available on my page Easy Science 05. DM me there and I'll provide them to you.